Subject English, Lesson 3.3, A Crow in the House. The young crow had fallen from its nest and was fluttering about on the road in a dangerous of being crushed by the cart or a tanga or seized by the cat when I picked it up and brought it home. It was in sorry condition, beak gaping and head dropping, and we did not expect it to live. But grandfather and I did our best to bring it round. We feed it by pressing its beak gently open with a pencil, pushing it in a little bread and milk, and then removing the pencil to allow it to swallow. We weared this diet with occasional doses of grandmother's homemade plum wine, and as a result, the young crow was soon on the road to recovery. We offered his freedom, but he did not take it. Instead, he made himself at home in the house. Grandmother, Aunt Mabel, and even some of the grandfather's pets objected, but there was no way of getting rid of the bird. We took over the administration of the house. We were not sure that he was male, but we called him Keeser. Before looking, Keeser was joining us at the meal times besides fighting his own grub and beetles in the garden. He danced about on the dining table and gave us no peace until he made given his small bowl of meal and soup. He was always restless, fidgeting about and investigating things. He would hop across a table to empty a matchbox of its content and rip that daily paper to shade overturns vase of paper flowers and tug at the tail of one of the dogs. That crow will be the ruin of us, grumbled grandmother, picking marigolds off the carpet. Can't you keep him in a cage? We did try Keeser in a cage, but he was so angry and objected with such fierce cawing and flapping that it was better for us nerves and peace of mind to give him the run of the house. He did not show any inclinations to join the other crows in the banyan tree. Grandfather said this was because he was really a jungle crow, a raven of sort, and probably felt a little contemptuous of very ordinary Korean crows. But it seemed to me that Keeser, having grown used to living with humans on equal terms, and had become snobbish and did not wish to mix with his own friends. Perching on the top of the Hold's cage, he would pick at the big bird's feet, and whereupon Holt would swear and scold and try. In the time Keeser learned to talk, a little raven sometimes do in a cracked, throaty voice. He would sit for hours outside the window, banging on the glass with his beak and calling, "Hello, hello." He seemed to recognize the click of the gate, but I came home from school and would come to the door with a hop, skip, and jump, saying, "Hello, hello." I would also taught him to sit on arm or and say, "Kiss, kiss," while he placed his head gently against my mouth. On one of Aunt Mabel visit, Keeser all righted on his arms and cracked, "Kiss, kiss." Aunt Mabel was disliked and possibly fluttered and leaned forward for kiss. But Keeser's attention shifted my aunt's glimmering spectacles, and thrusting at him with his beak, he knocked. Aunt Mabel never was success with the pets. Pet or pest, grandmother insisted that Keeser was a pest in spite of his engineering habits. If he had restricted his achieve activities to our own house, it would be possible. But he too visiting neighbors' household, stealing pen, pencil, hair ribbons, combs, keys, shuttlecocks, toothbrushes, and falls, etc. He was especially fond of toothbrush and made a collection of them on the top of the cupboard of in my room. Most of the neighbors were represented in our house by the toothbrush. Toothbrush sale went up. So did grandmother's blood pressure. Kisa spent on the children's going into the Banya shop and often managed to snatch sweet from them as they came out. Clothes peg fascinated him. Neighbors would return from the bazaar to find their washing lying in the mud and no sign of pegs. These two found their way to the top of the cupboard. It was Kisa's gardening activity that finally led to disaster. He was helping himself to our neighbor's beans when a stick was flung in him. I carried an unfortunate bird home. Grandmother and I washed and damaged his legs as best we could. But it would not mend. Kisar hung his head and no longer talked. He grew weaker day by day, refusing to eat. An occasional skip of grandmother's homemade wine was all that kept him going. One morning I found him dead on the sofa, his legs stuffed in the air. Poor Kisar, his antisocial habit had led to his easy end. I dug a shallow grave in the garden and buried him there along with all the toothbrushes and clothes pegs he had taken so much trouble to collect.